Hello again, welcome again to another video. Life's a strange thing. A friend of mine sent me a clipping of a Bernard Manning video. Any of you old enough to remember will remember that Bernard Manning was a politically incorrect comedian from the 60s, 70s, 80s really. Maybe a bit of the 90s, but he was biggest of all in the 70s and 80s, and people think of him now as a racist comedian and everythingist really, you know. If he'd been around now, he would have been transphobic and everything else, and everything that you could accuse him of, he would have been that. But that misses the point a bit, because there's more to him than that. He did that old thing that a lot of comedians do, like a lot of work for charity. But this video is about two people. One's Bernard Manning and the other one's a guy called Foo Foo Lamar, who was another great Manchester comedian. Bernard Manning was more famous. He found fame on a show called The Comedians, which was a Granada television programme in the 1970s. And he already had his own club in Manchester called the Embassy Club, at which he appeared every night, most nights anyway, for 40 years. The club was packed all the time, and as a keyboard player, some of you might know that I used to be a keyboard player when there used to be work around, and Bernard Manning used to employ a live band on the stage, so I played there a few times. But I remember one time I was 28 years old. It was my 28th birthday, and a gig came up in Gorton, Manchester. And you don't get more Manchester really than Gorton. I was born in Ancoats in Manchester, which is right in the middle of Manchester. But anyway, this gig came up in Gorton, and it was playing for Bernard Manning. So typically he'd come on and he might do a song, then he'd go into his comedy routine, and then I would play again with the drummer, do a few little jazz tunes or whatever it was we were doing, and that was it. And Bernard Manning sang a few that night. He had quite a good voice actually. I think he sang "Fly Me to the Moon, Fly Me to the Moon, let me play among the stars, let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars." And I played for him, and it was a great night. And he said, "Hey, you lot behind the bar, get this lad a drink. It's his 28th birthday." I remember when I was fucking 28. Didn't quite talk like that, but that's as near to Mancunian as I can do. It's more Gallagher than Manning, but there you go. And he was a nice guy. Played for him a few times. Always funny. Remarkably funny. People of these days won't think it's funny, but people these days are just looking to be offended most of the time, so they don't think anything's funny. So yeah, he was a great guy. And another guy, I've only got good things to say about Bernard Manning. And another guy was called Foo Foo Lamar, Frank Foo Foo Lamar, who also owned his own nightclub in Manchester. He was a gay guy. They used to call him the Tough Puff. There was a Manchester crime gang around at the time called the Quality Street Gang. People like Jimmy the Weed and oh, that's another story anyway. But Frank Foo Foo Lamar was in with all the darker characters of Manchester who were respectable as far as I could see. I'd played loads of music in various clubs for lots of them, and they were always great to musicians because they wanted music on, they liked music, I played it, and it was great. They were great times. So Foo Foo Lamar, I used to play in his club again in the 80s, early 90s. He had a pub as well in Moston called the Lightbound, and his club in Manchester called Foo Foo's Palace near Tib Street. It was a great night, that, full of stag and hen nights, more hen nights than stags, but we also did little tours with Foo Foo around the country. I remember going to the now knocked down Gaiety Theatre in Rill. That was a great night. And I look back on these times now. Again, I mean, Foo Foo was a great guy as well. Another one who did a load for charity. And like Bernard, very funny man. Super guy to know. Both very rich men as well. Very successful. It's nice sometimes to be around successful people because it makes you realise that it's available. Because Foo Foo and Bernard didn't come from any great wealth or anything. They were self-made as far as I could tell. Great guys. And anyway, this video isn't about telling stories about them, or, well, it is in a way, but the point is, when you're in these times, in the 1980s and 90s, I'm mid-50s now, when you're in those times, you don't realise how good they are or how long they'll last. So I say to anyone now, carpe diem, seize the day, because the times don't last forever. Nothing lasts forever. It's just gone. Before you know it, the time is gobbled up. Things become unpopular, things get outphased. Things get fucked off by things like COVID. You know, situations change, people die, things go out of fashion. So if you're currently enjoying something and it's going well, keep it, treasure it, hang on to it for as long as you can, because these times go. I'd pay anything tonight to be back with Bernard Manning or Foo Foo Lamar. They're truly wonderful times. And the whole of clubland and publand is fucked now anyway. I mean, they're times from the 1960s, 70s, 80s, social clubs and that. They're all on their arse now. Leisure's turned into a different thing, and men are more homebound, so things have changed. So like I say, if you have something that's going well, cling on to it and try and appreciate it in the moment. Try and think like, this won't be around forever, so I'm going to really enjoy it. Drink it deeply. As the Buddhists say, imagine life as a beautiful crystal glass, and you can behold its beauty, and you can say, this is beautiful, like that house behind me that I'd like to buy. You say, behold its beauty, but also hear it shattering at the same time. So while we can behold this beautiful big house here, and enjoy thinking about living there, we also know that one day the bulldozer is going to bang it to the ground. So we've got to enjoy it while we can. We've got to take life and enjoy it. And looking back at Bernard Manning and Foo Foo Lamar, I don't think I quite enjoyed it as deeply as I could do. People talk like this about lost relatives and people who are no longer with us. People in grief say that I wish I'd have done such and I wish I'd have done more with my mum or dad or sister or brother. And when they've gone, you can't get it back. People reflect fondly sometimes about childhood or school days. They're gone forever. Again, I'd do anything to go back to 1977 and start secondary school again. For me, they were fucking brilliant times. Anyway, such is life. C'est la vie. Hope you're all well as we ease our way out of the coronavirus pandemic and probably into another one soon. So stay well, stay cool, carpe diem.